Okay, so it's 10:05 here, so let's start our webinar. So again, good morning, good afternoon to everybody. My name is Sai. I am the solutions head for Easy Data Launch. We are a BI solutions company, and this is the first part of our webinar series on Power BI versus Qlik, and talk you through what these tools are and different aspects of each area within this tool. And today we are going to cover visualization as one of the key aspects of both these tools, and show you not just the demo but also actually walk you through a sample example in terms of how you use both these tools. Background, what we are seeing in BI world today, we are looking at data insight challenges for business managers, as we know what's going on in every business manager, every user within an organization. So I guess for every business user here is to make sure that they can analyze data, they can make decisions, informed decisions based on that data. And some of the challenges that we have seen in the past, BI world, is to get the data to the business users and understand what kind of analysis they would make. Platforms that we support, we as a consulting application company, we support Microsoft BI Stack, we support Qlik, we support our various other databases and big data solutions like cloud data. So what is a Qlik analytics platform? I'll briefly give you a perspective of what Qlik is. Qlik is a team in Pennsylvania. The Qlik platform basically allows you to look at self-data analytics, and we are looking at custom analytics and reporting and collaboration. What it means that whether the user is looking to do self-service visualization or where we have IT department or people within this business analysts within the organizations who are trying to build reports for executives, you can do everything across the same platform. And we'll walk through more details on the platform in a little bit. Qlik as a platform allows you to connect to various data sources. As you can see, various connectors. So there is no real how many sources you can connect and what kind of data you can bring in for visualization and analytics perspective. Some of the industry accolades that Qlik has got, it's been in the leaders quadrants by Gartner in the last 5 years. It's been there, and it has got one of the highest satisfaction rating as per the BIRC consumer rating survey. It has got one of the lowest total cost of ownership. So as a platform, it's been there. It's been used by many thousands of customers and users. It's been rated pretty well. It has been updated pretty regularly. They've been coming out with a lot of new updates and upgrades in their tool set. So definitely a product that you would like to consider for your BI initiatives. Some of the things that I was just mentioning about customer satisfaction, performance, and things like that. And BARC is one of the survey organizations that really takes business users or the BI users' feedback. So this is an independent company. So that's one of the, it rates about 20 BI tools across the globe. So it's pretty exhaustive and has a pretty good insight in terms of different BI tools and how they compare against each other on various aspects. Looking at Qlik, and we'll go into the demo of Qlik and Power BI as well. So what are the things that we are going to cover today? We are looking at exploration, visualization, how to load data, how to build your chart, and what kind of different visualizations are available, bar chart, line chart, combos, things like that. How a user can create by dragging and dropping data sets and things like that. We're also looking at collaborating. So once you create a dashboard or how do you share it, we have Qlik and Power. We'll look at how easy it is to publish using that. how we can collaborate. And again, it's completely mobile, so that's one of the aspects of all the BI tools is to make sure that you can use it on any device, smart device, tablets on the go. So we'll look at all these aspects as we move on. So Power BI is a Microsoft technology. We are looking at how it's been architected. Power BI per se, Microsoft has launched about a year back. They've already got more than 5 million users. A lot of customers using Power BI, existing Microsoft and new customers. Microsoft is providing this more as a cloud service. So you have a free desktop, Power BI desktop that we will use in some time, build our dashboard, and then how do you publish that report and access via cloud, Power BI cloud. So we'll go through that. Again, this is a high-level architecture of what Power BI looks like in terms of connections, data sources, content packs, and the desktop, and various other things. So we'll take each aspect in each of our webinar series. We are focusing on the desktop today, which is the visualization and preparation tool from Power BI. So we'll work on that today. So what are the things that Power BI dashboard allows you? It allows you to build an interactive right from get-go, getting the data in, again, data manipulation, various other things. We look at how the reporting pan and various options are available, what kind of charts are available, and the formatting of those charts and selecting colors and putting other things. And again, we are looking at what kind of filters you can put, what kind of calculated fields you can put, and if you have anything else. So we will go through all these aspects in just 5 minutes. User aggregation and charts. So we're looking at various charts and various aggregation things within the user. So what kind of things you can build, what kind of different functions are available within the reports you can look at. And again, visualization perspective, there are a lot of custom visuals available for both Qlik and Power BI. So it's not just what the product vendor is providing, but they've opened up the entire visual library to open source, and so people, customers can contribute more custom visuals to it, and we can integrate that with their reports or dashboards. So that's another cool feature by both these vendors. So let's look at a small demo for Qlik first. So this is what we are seeing as a quick demo, and we'll jump into the actual demo right after this, just to show quickly the interface of Qlik and how easy it is to get the data, manipulate data, and build your dashboards right there. So let's jump into a quick demo now. So this is the Qlik interface. So we are going to start. This is the Qlik interface when you log in the system. This is a Qlik desktop that you can download from Qlik's website. It's free of cost. Once you download in the desktop version, you can create a new app by clicking on app. So I'm going to create a demo app. And I'm going to say create. Once we create the app, it's open the app, and I'm going to open the app for everybody. So once you open the application, it's going to ask you to load the data. So we're going to add the data. There are various options that Qlik provides you. You can connect to your data sources by either connecting to databases, data sets, web files, delimited files or direct folders, or you can also connect to Qlik Market, which is data sets like currencies and demographics or weather data and other various data. So there are various options through which you can connect to your data source. Let's connect to files right now. I'm going to connect to files. We are going to connect to some data files that we created for this webinar. So we have this data files that we have here. I'm going to connect to this file here, and I'm going to just load these files within the Qlik application. So once you come to this screen here, we are looking at whether the field has embedded field names or not. It's going to take the field names. This is a data set for a mobile app that is being used in the various app store. So the data is about the app store, which application, country, what metric it is, what revenue type it is, and basically what is the value of revenue that is being generated by this mobile app. And now, once we know what data it is, we are going to basically go ahead and load the entire data set. And so now we got our data set, and we can open the data manager to see what data we have got. So this is the data that we have seen that has been loaded into the application now, as you can see from the data source. We can add more data sources if you want to add more data sources here. And once it is done, basically we've loaded the data and we are done here. So we are going to save this application and go back and to our application builder. So the moment we open our first sheet, there are no charts right now, so we are going to add new charts. As you can see on the left-hand menu side, these are all the different charts that are made available by Qlik platform. So we can select a bar chart, for example, a simple bar chart, and we are going to add dimension for the data that we loaded. So we are going to add dimension as App Store, and we are going to add a measure called revenue, basically sum of value. So this is the data that we loaded just now. Now, this is a simple example of what a chart that we prepared. We can put a title revenue by App Store. There are various options that you can add here. You can add dimensions or metrics. So that's a thing. You can also, whether you want to show a null value, you want to put any limitation. Say, I want to see top 5 or 10, or you can even put an expression or a function to calculate what you want to show. So that's an example of the UI things that you can do here. Similarly, expression Qlik allows pretty exhaustive formatting of expressions and numbers. So we can put numbers or money format. We can say whether you want to see this with decimals, without decimals. You can delete the decimals if required, or you can select a number format, and then within the number format, you can select what number format that you're looking for. So pretty much pretty easy to make all these manipulation within the chart. You can define the sorting. Either you can sort it automatically, or you can sort it based on either expression or numerical values in ascending or descending or way, or you can put an expression. So, for example, you're going to say sum of revenue or some other expression that you want to use. You can use expression. So these are some of the cool functions that are available right out there for business users to make changes. Apart from sorting, there are add-ons. So you can put a reference line, for example. Let's say I want to add a reference line saying that what is my target for revenue, and I'm going to put a reference line here in red. I can put an expression again as a calculated reference line, or I can just put 50,000 here as a reference line. So as you can see, my reference line has come in from that perspective. I can also add changes to the general appearance of how I want to see, whether I want to see the titles, how I want to present this chart, whether in bar or vertical or horizontal. One of the other things that you can do is you can look at the grid line spacing, whether you want to make it narrow, then it will have more points, as you can see here, or I can make it wide, or just keep it no lines if I don't want to see any lines. So these are some of the good options that are available. Whether you want to see the data values on the labels, as you can see here, we can see 129,000 as a number coming out here. We can also put colors. So right now it's an auto color, but we can also put custom colors. So whether you want a single color, you want a by dimension or a measure. So let me quickly open the application that we just built, and this will probably So this application we were looking at, various options and colors and legends here. So we have selected custom colors by measure as an option here, and then we are looking at either divergent gradient. We can look at sequential gradient or sequential classes, which provides you different ways in looking at your data. If you're looking at similar information here, the same information, then this is the way you can set your range. We have put the target as well and various other things. So these are the various options that you have in the UI side based on which chart you're selecting. Let's add another chart. So we have added this is a radar chart that has been added here. This radar chart, again, the dimensions are apps. by App Store, and we also have measure which is some of our revenue or value here. Some of the sorting options that we selected here are based on alphabetically. You want ascending order for the dimensions, and so let's add another chart here. We are going to add a pie chart. We're going to add dimension as metric here. We're going to add measure as dollar value. And we're going to add another measure for the revenue type. So this is a different kind of chart, as you can see here, which provides you how the count and the target values are really being calculated using and then we can add a title again, then saying this is a burst chart or a pie chart with showing different measures. So this is the way we can create. We can keep on adding. These are pretty flexible. You can make them small. You can make them. You can organize them and arrange them the way you want to see them. You can blow them up. You can link. You can put a hyperlink or unlink a visualization to your existing dashboard. There are multiple things that we can do with this whole visualization process here in the Qlik. And once you are done, this is how you can see your chart. Now, if you want to add any specific selection, then we can select something within the chart, or we can use what they call is a lasso. I can do that, and I can select what I want to select. I can unselect by clicking on it. Whatever you select, or you can take a picture or a snapshot, and I'll come back to that quickly. Exploration menu. So you are looking at now exploring the data in a large way. You want to see the colors, legend, presentation. I can change the presentation if I want to change. I want to send this sorting order. I can change the sorting order and various other things. We can do that. I want to look at my metric again. I want to look at in a different order. I can change that. I can change the colors instead of the gradient color. I can change the colors type. I can change. I can just put it auto, and everything will become a single color. Or I can put a by dimension or by measure. So there are multiple ways. I can put the legends here, so you can see how the values are really going up and down, and how the measures are being reflected. And you can discard or apply these changes. When you apply those changes, this chart will show those things within the chart here. So very cool feature in terms of how we can do things. One of the other things that Qlik provides out of the box is the form factor. So if you're looking at this information on a tablet, you see how the screens and the charts are adjusting themselves as I start bringing down the screen size. Now, if I want to bring down the screen size to a smartphone, typically an iPhone 6s, probably this is what you're going to see on an iPhone 6s when you bring down this chart. So one of the best features that we like about Qlik is it's a completely touch-centric design. You can actually build this whole application on a tablet because it is a touch-enabled for everything that you're looking for. So you can create a chart, you can add a chart, everything on a touch-enabled device and in a browser without actually using any specific desktop or anything like that. One of the other big things that Qlik provides, if you look at here, is it shows you all the tables in the field. So we have one table basically and all the fields here, but also something called master items. What basically master items are the dimensions, measures, or visualizations that you want to use it over and over again. So let's say you have what we're showing you here right now, some of the selection box or filter criteria. Then you can create them as a master dimension within your application, and you can use that over and over again in multiple application dashboards that you will design within Qlik's environment. And that's pretty cool because you define it once and then you can use it multiple times. So we have this expression here, sum of value, also as a master measure. So something that you can just use this every time. So if you have a complex expression or some kind of complex calculation, which you don't want to keep creating every time you build a chart, but you may want to use it 10 times, then you can just create it once here and then keep it and keep adding it or using it in multiple charts that you may have. Similarly, visualization. So we just example of this visualization we have created. You can keep using this over and over again in multiple dashboards or multiple application that you will build using Qlik. So how to create? It's pretty simple. Let's say I want to add a new measure, for example. I'm just going to create new. It will ask me what is the measure that I'm creating. I'm just creating. So Qlik provides a complete expression building interface here. So you can say I want to do aggregation, I want to do some count, average, whatever it is. So I'm going to do count, and I want to do count of value as a function. I'm going to just insert that. As you can see, it automatically gives you the expression behind the scenes. Now you can write pretty complex expressions within this interface if you need to be, and it supports many functions like ranking, creating constraint-based expressions where you want to calculate something based on only if the metric is ad revenue, for example, those values and things like that. So you can write pretty complex expression within this interface within Qlik. The idea is we are just trying to show you the capability of UI right now, and then what more. And I'm going to just put that as count function, count value. I can put tags in this, so I can search this function if you have created hundreds of pre-calculated measures in your application dashboard. Then you want to select, you want to put some tags, keywords, which will allow you to search them easily. So you can say this is count value is one of my keywords that I'm going to add, and I'm just going to say create. Once I create this function, let's create a new chart, and I'm going to use that function. So I'm going to create a new bar chart here, and I'm going to add a function called metric dimension, and I'm going to add a measure. And as you can see here, the moment I click on measure, it is showing me these two, which are my master measures, which we just created, and these are all the other fields that are there in the database or table. So I'm going to select count value, and there you go. You just directly have your chart. So this is how easy it is in terms of building charts, building reports within Qlik. One of the other things that you'll also notice here, you have collapsible tree and some of these chart types that you can see here with these are nothing but an extension or custom visuals which are not out of the box, but this is an open library that is supported by Qlik, as I was mentioning earlier. And if you go to this library here on Qlik branch, these are the various custom visuals that are created by various business users and other users and community people, and they have contributed to that. So there are tons and tons of visuals, as you can see here, and I can show you some cool visuals that we have. So one of the things that we have seen is a lot of companies like to use D3 visuals. So D3 is one of the most widely used visuals, as a lot of us know, and you can bring in entire D3 visual library within Qlik, and I'm just going to show. Let me do that. So we have created one small example here of D3, And as you can see here, this is a demo of D3 library. And so these are all the different D3 chart types available in the D3 pack, which you can bring in within QlikSense. So this is something cool, because without writing a single line of code as a business user, what you just need to do is download this extension object or custom visuals, put into just a folder within QlikSense for data folder, and you can start using them right from get-go. So this is pretty cool. So for example, if you want to add, let's add one custom D3 visual here, and the radar chart that we showed you just now, just before, was a D3 visual, this one, and we can add another one, and this is the other one also, the pie chart. Let's add another custom sequence sunburst chart. If that is what you're looking at, we can add dimensions. So we are looking at App Store, we are looking at by metric, and we are going to add dollar values. So this is your sunburst chart, as you can see from D3 visualization. So it is as easy as you can imagine in terms of how you can see this chart. And you can, of course, you can change what you want to see in this chart in terms of appearance, whether you want to see the legends, you don't want to see the legends, show the titles, and you don't want to see the title. All those things are still available in terms of adding. But as you can see, these are pretty easy features that you can incorporate within your Qlik library here. So just wanted to showcase this. Now we want to move back to Power BI desktop. So this is Qlik. We are going to save this application. And once you save this application, if you want to upload, Qlik has provided a QlikSense cloud. So we will go there and this is a my QlikSense cloud here, and I can add my application here from my personal application. So I'm going to load a personal data file. Log me out because of inactivity. I'm going to log back in. So I'm going to log back in, and I'm going to import a file. So the file that we just created, I'm going to import that file pretty quickly. This is a file that we are working on, so I'm going to upload that file. Oh, this is a data file, sorry. Import that. So I've uploaded my app. App is already here, so I can see my app here, and I can upload that app, and I can. So that the app is already come to my cloud. Okay, sorry about that. And then you can distribute the app. So that's how Qlik Cloud will work. I'm going to refresh my session, and let's move on to the Power BI. So this is the Power BI desktop here. We are looking at, so same data set that we used, we are going to use. So Power BI desktop again is free from Microsoft. You can download the Power BI desktop, and once you open it, this is the interface that you're going to see. Let's um, you have get data, recent sources, and various other things. These are the different visuals and field types. We don't have anything right now, so we are going to select. So we are going to select. There are more data sources because we want to select a folder. So I'm going to select a folder here. I'm going to connect. I'm going to go to the same path that we have. And we have the revenue data file folder. That's what we wanted to connect. So we have connected that. Now, Microsoft Power BI provides you a couple of cool things here. So when you connect a folder, it is showing all the files that are there in this folder. Now, what if you want to load all these files together at one shot? Then you can still do that. So when I click on edit, it's going to open the content this way. So this is just the file content here, but I don't want to load the file content. I don't want the name of the file and other information. What I need is the content of this file. So I'm going to click this double arrow buttons that is seen here. And what it's going to do is actually going to show me all the data in those files. And that's the cool thing about Microsoft Power BI, that you can do this way. Now, as we start doing things, as you can see here, it is also giving you all the steps that we have performed so far. And basically this gives you again a traceability of various things that you did so far. So you can undo something, you can just click on that and you can undo that button, or you can save this. So again, a pretty good way to know, the steps that you are taking to bring in the data and what you're doing. Now we got all the data that we want here. We are just going to now close and apply this so that we can get the data in. Now, the moment the data comes in, as you can see here, it is showing you a pre-calculated measure because it identifies that as a measure, which is a revenue data or a value. Everything else is basically a dimension value or something that you can use it. And now we can start building our chart. So let's start with our first chart. We want to create the same chart that we created. So I'm going to select App Store. I'm going to drag it, and I'm going to have the value. And we have the chart. Now we can change this chart, whether we want to see the orientation this way or in a horizontal way or a vertical way, and we can do that. Now there is an edit, there's a paintbrush icon, as you can see here, which basically allows you to format this chart. So I'm going to format this chart to see whether we want a reference line or not. So now we just saw in Qlik that you can create a reference line by putting the value or an expression, whereas in Power BI, you can only put value right now. There is no capability as of this moment to put any expression value here. So that's one difference that we saw from Qlik versus Power BI per se. And I'm going to put this line again as brown line, and whether I want to see it transparent, I don't want to see it transparent, I can do that. Whether I want it dashed or I want a solid line, whichever way. So these are the various things so this is one example of what we can do in Power BI. Data colors, again, we can either choose a default color, or we can say we want to select specific custom color. So that's one way to look at it. As we saw what we saw in Qlik is, you can actually put these colors based on the measure value itself. So instead of manually selecting a color, it was looking at giving the color. As we can go back here, it was showing you color option based on the value itself or a dimension or various other options. So Power BI really doesn't do that, but it's still good enough where you can change the colors and other information that you can see here. We can put the title on, or we can put the title off. We can put the background on or not. So these are some of the things that you can do in Power BI. Simple formatting stuff. The other thing that you can also do is you can put filters that are required for visual or a page level filter. So we want, let's say, metric as one of the filters here that I want to bring in. So as you can see here, these are the metric level filters that I brought in, and then we can use those filters. So if I select one-off revenue, or I want to select only add revenue, then it will show me how that filter impacts my calculation. So this is one visual. Let's continue with another visual. Let's create a. We can change the visual if you want, but let's create another one. So I'm going to leave this visual, and I'm going to create a new visual of a pie chart. Here I'm going to select metric as my, and I'm going to select value. So the moment you select that, it's going to show you that information. Again, we can go back and format this visual. So we can either put legends. We want to put legends. If we don't want to put legends, we can do that. So those are some of the options. Again, we have different color options, detail labels if you want on. We don't want them. Title of the chart, background of the chart, any other general aspect. So formatting perspective, it's pretty easy to do some of these formats. We can also put layered visuals, so you can bring it forward, send it back. Some of the things that is typical to any Microsoft PowerPoint or other visuals that we have seen, we are used to. So we can do those things. One of the other things that Microsoft also allows you, Power BI desktop, is you can look at your data sets, you can look at your relationship within the data. So we can also look at all the information out here. Let's go back to our visual here. Now what we want to do is we want to add a custom visual. And how do you do that in Power BI? So Power BI also has opened up their entire visual source code to community at large. So any user, anybody who wants to add their custom visual, like what we saw in Qlik, you can add more custom visuals. So let me show you. So Power BI has its own custom visual here. So this is a visual gallery that Power BI currently provides, and you can use any of these visuals you can bring in. So we have downloaded a couple of visuals here just for this demonstration purpose today, and I'm going to quickly show that to you. So I'm going to add a custom visual. I'm going to import a new custom visual. Let's build a table. So I'm going to build let's build a calendar visual, for example. I've imported the visual. As you can see, the moment you import it, that icon comes in. So you select that calendar visual here. And now we need to select, and calendar visual, as you know, obviously is going to work only with dates. So we are going to put dates here instead of, now the moment you create date, it will show your date hierarchy or a date. We just want date. So I'm going to select plain date here, and I'm going to put the value here. So the moment we do that, as you can see here, we have data for 2 years. So we have 2012 and 2013 data here. So you can see different dates and when the revenue actually came in on which date. So this is, again, just a cool way to look at information in a calendar format. There are other visual formats that we can bring in, and we can look at it. So idea was just to show different ways. Now, we want to publish this report, Power BI to Power BI service on Microsoft Cloud, Power BI Cloud. So we are just going to click on publish here. First, we are going to save all the changes, and it's going to basically take me to the publishing option. I'm going to save this file, demo webinar. And it's going to publish it. So it has already published it. Now, there are a couple of things that you can see here. One is open it in Power BI in the cloud, in the Power BI service, or it also says get quick insights. Let's click on get quick insights here. And I'm going to select browser here. What Power BI does is it provides you some of the outliers and exceptions from the data set that you just loaded. And so it creates a content pack of not just the visual, but all the data. So now it is building something that you can look at more from an exception perspective, is looking at stories like your value for ad revenue has outliers. So obviously there are some high points on some days where you got a lot of visitors to your website, your application, and they downloaded all these applications and paid money. So it shows you some of these outlier days within the data set that we have. Now share of different type of revenue. Apple App Store is showing noticeably more downloads compared to other app stores. There's a seasonality in terms of how the downloads and have happened. So there's a lot of that which is pre-built, which is pre-canned within Microsoft Power BI. So it's pretty useful if you want to use this just to look at, what kind of exception or outliers that you have within the data set that you have instead of building those charts. So this is a pretty good feature. The other thing that we said, we won't open the Power BI in our Power BI cloud. So we are going to go there and open that. So whatever we did on the desktop, exactly everything you can see within the cloud itself. This is I'm on my our Power BI cloud, and I can actually look at all the filters that we added. So I can use these filters, or I can even download this file, or I can share with people. So if you click on the left hand side, I can share with this dashboard with other people within my organization, or I can. So I have my workspace where I can create a group, and this group can be based on Active Directory or Office 365 accounts that you may already have. So there are a lot of those things that are available within Power BI. I know we are 5 minutes short of our time, so I would like to open up the floor for any questions, any other questions that anybody has, anything that you would like to know more. Open for questions for all. So any questions anybody has? Anything that you would like about Power BI and Qlik and different use cases that you may have, you want to try out. Again, both the tools have free desktops. I would definitely encourage each one of you to try and download the free version. It's a complete version, so you can download it and build anything that you want with your data sets. The first question I have is, can we connect Power BI to OLAP Cube? The answer is yes. If the OLAP Cube is created within SSIS, Microsoft SQL Server, or Azure, you can connect to OLAP Cubes. And you can do that same thing with Qlik. It depends upon where the OLAP Cube is. We can connect to SQL, as well as if you have any custom cubes, then you can build custom script to connect to OLAP cubes in Qlik as well. But there's an inherent difference, and we'll cover that in our next series of webinars in terms of how Qlik treats data sets as an engine, and how Power BI treats data sets as an engine. So Qlik inherently doesn't need to build cubes, whereas Power BI, if you have cubes, then it will show that dimensionality in the contained way that you intend to show. So we'll talk more about it when we go to the next series. We'll talk about data transformation and how the data layers are been worked by both these separate tools. So another question, can we connect Power BI to semi-additive measures in SAS multidimensional model? As of today, this support is not available by Power BI, but Microsoft has been working on a lot of features and enhancements, and it will allow that multidimensional model connector through Power BI in SAS, but as of today, it's not there. Another question, will this tool replace Power Pivot in Excel add-in? So what Microsoft has done, that's a very good question, is it was providing all these different add-ins for Excel, like Power Pivot, Power Query, and things like that. And what it has done is basically consolidate all those features under one platform called Power BI. So those add-ins will remain with Excel, but Power BI is much wider platform, much more robust platform to build your dashboards and reports, especially the kind of connectors and APIs it supports and things like that. So it won't take away the Power Pivot add-in, but you are going to gain much more using Power BI compared to Excel. So you can use Power BI over when do you want to use? So SSRS 2016 is going to bring in functionality where Microsoft is allowing organizations to create Power BI dashboards on SSRS in 2016 version, which is going to be rolled out this summer. But as of today, there is no way, you are going to use Power BI when you are looking at, one is Azure Cloud, because Power BI service right now works only in cloud, Microsoft Azure Cloud. So there is no in-premise option. If you want your in-premise option, then you have to work with SSRS. So Microsoft in their product strategy is, if you want to use cloud, if you want to use collaboration, if you want to use connectors within other cloud-based applications like Salesforce, Google, it's bringing in R and all that kind of stuff, then you want to use Power BI. If you want to work with the existing way of reporting that is provided in SSRS, then you can work with that, and for in-prem option as of today. So it's just a choice between going on cloud versus remain in-premise. Now, what Power BI provides, Microsoft have come out with a gateway, a data gateway, which allows you to connect to your data sources, which are within your infrastructure, within your network. So you don't have to put all those data sources in cloud. You can still connect Power BI in cloud, the dashboards, to your in-prem data sources. So per se, you really do not need SSRS because you can use Power BI with your network data sources. We have almost one last question. If anybody has one last question, then I can take that. Otherwise, which one do we prefer, Qlik or Power BI? It's a very tricky question. Yes, we think that both solutions have their pluses and minuses, and as we move along this webinar series where we are going to cover different aspects like governance, security, data transformation, and things like that. So you have to look at all those aspects and decide which tool is going to be the best tool for your choice, because both can be put in cloud, both can be done in-prem, except Power BI cannot be in-prem, but Qlik can be in-prem completely. Qlik server is free once you have 5 user license. Data transformation capabilities of Qlik is much more powerful than any of the BI tools that are existing today in marketplace. So it depends. It really depends upon what you are going to do. We think both are pretty powerful and both are equally capable. It just goes back to your 3-5 year strategy and what's your user base look like and what really you want to do. So I would say that we recommend both of them, and then we go by what really makes sense. But we think Qlik has an upper hand when it comes to a lot of data transformation, data mashup, working with unstructured content. Power BI is more on structured content driven, but it has some other capabilities which Qlik doesn't have as of today. So can both be white label? Absolutely, yes. You can white label both of these solutions. When we work to our mashup session next week, we'll show about how you can white label the session. In fact, we'll show you the instance that we have created at Easy Data Munch, which is completely white labeled on Qlik. So we can show you that and see, and basically it's our own private white label instance of Qlik Cloud. Thank you so much, everyone. Really have a wonderful day today and week ahead. Sorry about some of the issues we had with the meeting people, but hopefully we'll take care of that next time and make sure that you guys have a good experience going through this webinar series. Really appreciate for your time, and you have our email address, so please reach out to us if you have any questions, more on any of these tools and products. Thank you so much. Have a great day.